Alright, so basically what we're going to do today is install my HIDs for my low and high beams. I also got a pair of hyper yellow bulbs to put in my fog lights. It's not a major mod, just something that I prefer rather than the dull yellow ones that come with the car. Makes it look a lot better in my personal opinion. So we'll get down to it. Alright, so basically the first step in this process, you want to open up the hood. Like so.
Alright, so the first step is you got to remove this little black piece here off the top, and then you remove the grill. These are actually a lot better clips than the ones I had from China. These are Honda JDM clips, yo. And so they actually come out when you want them to, instead of having to bash them in. But yeah, so that's the first part. You take out the top plastic piece, and then you will remove the grill. And then I guess we'll get to the undercarriage next. So once you remove the top plastic piece, you will reveal 2 more clips that you got to remove. And Doug's pro tip of the week is to use a small flathead screwdriver, such as the one in his hand. It's so tiny, but very handy.
Okay, so basically from what it seems is that we have this screw up here in the fender well, like most cars that I've seen. Maybe all cars. And then we're going to move on down to the clips, all the clips right here. And work our way across the edge of the bumper, all the way until we get to the other side.
Okay, so we took the bumper off after we removed all the clips and the screws. Basically, you just kind of want to pull this way out, and then after you've pulled it out, you want to pull forward. You'll pull it a little bit harder than you kind of want to, but it pops out. That's the way it's supposed to work. Okay, so next in the process would be to remove the headlights. From what it appears, there's one clip up here at the very top. And then you'll have 3 bolts. 10 millimeter socket will do, or 4 bolts actually. You got one up here, one right here, then you got one hidden in the back, right back there, and then your last one will be over here. And that is all you have to do in order to remove the headlight. Okay, so all the bolts and clips are out. Next you'll want to unplug your high beams, your low beams, and turn signals, I believe is what that is. So basically, the easiest thing we found to do was to unplug all the lights, obviously. And we're going to be replacing the high beam and the low beams. But for the low beams, for some reason, they have something you have to unscrew, because whenever you try to unlock it, it won't come out without taking off this little bracket for some reason. So why they can't make it like these other ones, I'm not sure, but that's what you got to do. Okay, so the set that we bought came with a relay harness, which is the best thing to do so that you're not drawing power from your OEM headlight power source. It actually has its own power source for the ballasts. Unlike what AutoZone would want you to think, you can't just swap out the bulbs and have HIDs. This is the package it came with. These are the ballast that actually give you true HIDs. Of course, these are the HID bulbs. And like I said, this is the harness. So I will break it down real quick for you. They probably also have the instructions in there to let you know what's what. But I've done this a few times, so I kind of know what to do. This right here is actually the power source. So this is where your ballast will be drawing the power from. Of course, that means that goes on the positive terminal of your battery. This one over here is for the driver's side light bulb. This will be plugging into the HID bulb that goes into the headlight. Of course, this is a ground. It needs to be grounded. And over here is for the passenger side. So this whole thing will actually run to the other side. And it knows when to cut on your headlight, or when to cut on the ballast, because it uses this as a signal source from your original headlight bracket. So where your original headlight low beam or high beam, in this case we're doing both, so we'll have 2 setups just like this, with 4 ballasts total. But so this will actually catch the signal that will say, hey, ballast, turn on. I just turned my headlights on. It's a bit of a pain in the butt, but once you figure it out, it's somewhat simple. Okay, so we're putting in the power source now.
We've got both the high beam and the low beam ballast wiring right there, running it along the back, and we put them on there. Yeah, let's do the other way.
Well, no,
And then we're adding an extra nut. So
Yeah.
instead of removing the stock one and going under it, it's better to just add an additional one on top if you can. And then we're going to run it through that little plastic cap and kind of tuck the wires a little bit. Zip tie it right back there. Hide them back there a little bit better. And then we're going to zip tie these big chunks over here, just down like that. Hopefully so they don't bounce around.
Alright, whenever you're removing the headlight or the light bulb itself, be very careful not to take it, touch it. And this in fact is the high beam one.
And go ahead and put that inside of the headlight. And then we'll take that bracket, slide it on the ends like so.
And then screw it down. Alright, so we got most of the wiring done. We have the driver's side, I believe that is the high beam ballast mounted. And then over here, we have the low beam ballast mounted. They're not screwed in, but I'd say they're pretty secure with zip ties. Those are thick zip ties we got there. Those are OEM Honda zip ties. Don't be afraid to use a bunch of zip ties just to kind of make it look good. I zip tied it down there, ran through here. These have to be grounded. As you can see, this is coming from the relay harness. It comes into the ballast, and off of that also comes this ground that needs to be grounded. We're going to ground it there at the Honda part, where the Honda grounded the rest of theirs, and then this actually connects to the bulbs. There's your ballast. Connects to your bulbs that we already have installed. This would be the low beam one. Then of course you still got your LEDs and your turn signal right there.
So basically after you get done mounting those ballasts, you also have to run the relay and the harnesses over here. As you see, we did it right up front up against the frame. And then we're going to come and mount the ballast over here. Alright, so a problem we ran into was whenever we installed everything and plugged it in, some of the headlights were not working, the low beams and the high beams were not working, so we're wondering what's going on, and it's fairly simple. If they do not work, just try switching around the plug. Apparently the polarity was not going in the correct direction, I guess if you want to say it like that, but basically what we did was take it out, flip it around, and we were good to go. It made everything work correctly like it should.
Okay, so we're about to cut on the headlights and test them out for the first time. And they'll usually make a high-pitched noise, like a buzzing sound almost. When you first cut them on, they kind of do that. It doesn't mean your car or your ballast is about to explode. It's just they're getting energy for the first time, and they just kind of it'll calm down after a bit. But those are the low beams. And the noise again for the high beams. Jesus Christ, that is bright.
Alright, so we got the light bulb, or the headlights back. Just remember to bolt down all the bolts that came out of it. You got this one right here, this one right here. You got one way back there, one on the side, and then you got this black clip. There's also like little clips that clip onto the actual frame itself, so make sure those are in place in both spots. And then we're actually about to put in the hyper yellow bulbs for my fog lights, and
Then we'll see about plugging the fog lights back in.
Alright, now we're going to put the bumper back on. Now usually what I do is I'll set it on my foot, just to give it somewhere to rest, and then plug back in your fog lights. Any other clips, sometimes there's an additional clip that clips the wire to it somewhere. There you go. Alright then. There we go. Alright, then you want to, what I usually do first is line up the, right here, where this, your bumper piece clips right up under your headlight. And you'll push that in until you hear it kind of click. And then you'll realize you didn't clip it properly. Next, we will put the corner screws in, and these two right here, and then the next little black piece that goes on top of that, you'll put in additional ones, these two as well. Alright, and there's the fogs all hooked up.
Alright, that's it for this project. Small little project, but just in case somebody wanted to know how to install HIDs and fogs, this would be it. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, and if you enjoy what you saw, please subscribe. There will be more.